Hello, Ron Briggs, Blackmore Vale Honey, and welcome back to the channel. Well, we've finally made it to Copenhagen and Apimondia. So we got in late last night. We had a good flight in. It was a bit delayed, but when we landed, we thought we'd take the metro. We got on the metro, we met up with a guy who was carrying an Apimondia banner, and turns out that these two lads were at the airport collecting honey, because they've actually got a honey bar here, which they're getting honeys from all over the world, but they've had a bit of a problem because the honey is not allowed in the country without licenses and all the rest of it. But they've overcome all that. The only difference was the people had to bring their honeys in, and then these guys had to collect it from the airport. But the good thing for us was they're staying at the same hotel right next to this place, the Bella Centre, and so they brought us all the way here basically to the hotel. So it's cool. It's been a good day. So we've been out doing a bit of sightseeing in Copenhagen today. That was really good because the actual conference starts tomorrow. But we can register, so we can register today. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in there and actually register for the rest of the week. So let's go do it. So we are staying in that hotel over there. I'm on the 17th floor, which is given a fantastic view of Copenhagen. Bit odd with all these angles and not straight line, but other than that, it's a cracking hotel. And the conference centre, the Bella Arena Conference Centre, is literally opposite. So I've got about a 2-minute walk after breakfast. So yeah, let's go and have a little look. So when we arrived last night, that wasn't up there, the Apimondia. Apparently they've had a book conference going on for the last few days, and so what it actually said was bog conference. Well, obviously bog means something completely different, but in Danish means book. So it wasn't a toilet conference, it was a book conference. So this is the entrance. We're not much further than this entrance hall at the moment because they're all still setting up behind that, but really simple. So we came here and we went to that desk over there. We just gave them some identification and they gave us all our badges and things that we're going to need for the rest of the week. But you could even come if you wanted to and just go on the computer and do it yourself and self-print your badges, but yeah, we had them do it for us. And then once we'd done that, we literally went over to that place over there where we picked up a bag which has got all paper copy and hard copy of all what's going on over this week. But there is also the app as well, which is completely interactive, which is going to be useful. So now it's just a case of going out for a bite to eat tonight, sitting down with the rest of the team and work out what we're actually going to do tomorrow. But this was really simple, straight in, and got it done. It's great. So I've just been chatting to a couple of guys in there, and I can't remember what he said delegates wise. I'm sure he said over 2,000 delegates which are turning up to the conference. But what was interesting was this has been 9 years in the planning. Sort of makes our little Dorset conference pales into insignificance. Yeah, 9 years in the planning, and it's finally arrived today. And if that's anything to go by, the registration, then they're definitely getting it right. So here we are. It is about to start. So it's now 4:30, and we are at the opening ceremony. it's quite something. So it started. We've had the opening ceremony, which was really cool. Big marching band at the end, etc. So this is the reception now. So they've a reception area for all participants in Apimondia, which is over 7,000 people from 121 countries are represented. So that's really cool. We're going to go out for a bite to eat, but they've got an exhibition area, which we'll take a look at later. And obviously somewhere we've got to pick up some merch, because you've got to have your merch, haven't you? But for the moment, let's go and get a bite to eat. So it's day one. So we turned up this morning, bit of a queue to get in because they check all your passes. Security is really, really tight. Been to a couple of presentations. The presentations, most of them only last about 15 minutes, and you might think, oh, that's a bit quick turnover. Actually, it works really, really well. So I've done a couple of those. We're in the exhibitionist hall where they're selling all the products. So I'm not really having a proper look at the moment, just having a wander around, getting the bearings, probably have a cup of coffee before we go to the next lecture, which is going to be interesting to me, which is the use of bee venom for Alzheimer's. So we'll go and have a look at that one. So we're just having a wander around at the moment and to get our bearings. So this list of exhibitors is huge, and I will get round and show you some of the things that are going on. But if you've been to the Spring Convention or the Honey Show and you think the exhibitors hall was big, wait till you see this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a walk around the outside just to give you some idea of how big this is. So there we go. So that is up to next. So that's how big the hall is. Right, time for my next lecture.
Changed dramatically. I want to show you just a little bit of something from the literature.
Bees, and today I'm just going to give you a very brief review of the evidence we have today.
So the first stand, the main stand, because they are the main sponsors, is Lyson, which is a Polish company. I think I already showed you that. I mean, you can't fit one of those into your shed. But then, if you move on, it has got all the spinners and everything else you would need for a hobby beekeeper. I quite like this as a settling tank. It's a settling tank with the scale already attached to it. So that's quite cool, automatic. So yeah, that's one of the main ones, Lyson. Let's go and look at some of the others. So Anel, these seem to be becoming quite big and quite popular now. They are plastic, but well insulated. So that's interesting. Interesting use of plastics. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but how simple will that be to power wash them clean and scrub them clean? So I think they're going to offer all the thermal qualities of poly, but in plastic form. So that could be interesting. See how that one unfolds. I'm sure somebody will be doing some reviews on that. So I was having a chat with these guys earlier. This is really interesting what they're developing. It's a simple little test. It's like a vial. You put 3 bees in it, drop the plunger, add the little bit of liquid onto it, and depending on what colour that turns, can tell you if your bees have got things like so acarine and black queen cell virus, and also deformed wing virus, which is also part of Varroa. So yeah, a really simple little test, and they're developing it further for other things. That's really interesting how science and technology is moving everything on for us. An interesting chat with these guys as well. That's for mixing up for mixing sugar syrup. And what's really cool about it is you can you attach your hose pipe to the end of it, to fill it up, so you haven't got to do buckets of water. So you fill it with water, add your sugar in. They've even got some syrup so you can invert it. That's quite cool, and reasonably priced as well. We were seriously having a look at that for the association. So ideally, you got that larger one in your association. Fill it up. It's got a pump in it. Mix it all up for you, and then your members can just come along with any container they want and get their syrup. So we're definitely looking at that. Unfortunately, not in the UK yet. Looking for a UK supplier, but yeah, that's these sort of things. These sort of places are where you find these sort of things. And again, another company there that working on products to discover the various diseases, etc. We all know about lateral flow tests. We know we use them. We've been using them for a while for European foul brood and the foul broods, but they're getting kits now that act exactly the same way for different diseases. Not sure yet.
Yes, yeah, this would be, it can do up to 1,000 kilos an hour.
A lot of companies looking at ways to deal with the Asian hornet. That's one of those, I don't know if you see that, that's one of those from France, which is the basically a fence that can electrocute them on the way in. So that's quite a lot of people doing that. There's a lot of this about the Asian hornet. And for a little kid's bee suit. A lot of talks, and a lot of these stalls are looking at honey and adulterated honey. Schwente here with quite a big stand, and there's lots of stands here dealing with propolis. And I've done one or two lectures so far about the benefits of propolis, making tinctures to do with Alzheimer's and brain health and stuff. Because apparently it's all to do with the bacteria in the mouth, which is really, really interesting. We'll talk more about that at a later date, but obviously a lot of these countries are already fully on board with that. So it's really, really interesting. Dubai is, so the next Apimondia was going to be in one of the African countries, which it no longer is now. So the next one in 2 years' time is going to be in Dubai. So that'll be quite interesting. If you fancy going to that. Lots of different honeys around. This honey from Moldova, this honey from all over the place. No Chinese company exporting. So another company that's going into these polystyrene with plastic on the outside. And what's interesting with this, I don't know if you can see that, there's like frame size polystyrene in there. So that's really cool. I mean, obviously this isn't a national, but you could close your hives down if you didn't have say you just come out of a nuke, close your hives down, put polystyrene frame front and back to add some insulation for the winter. So that's quite cool. We'll have a little chat with them, see if they're doing national size. Again, more with the technology. This company here, Bee Futures, are looking at reviving bees with light, using different sorts of light in beehives. Just how cool is that? There you go. That's from Schwente as well. Have you got room for one of those in your shed, in your honey house? And if you thought that machine was big for your garden shed, what about this one then? Coming in there, uncapping, and I'll follow the line up there to your spinner. Look at the size of that spinner. I'll spin them out, frames come out that end, into your honey sump to recover all the extra honey that's been lost through the uncapping, and then frames out the other end. How's that in your 6x4 shed? Will it fit? Just been talking to some people on another stand that are looking at DNA testing of bees. So they'll be able to tell you what strain of bees they are and potentially even where they've come from. That'd be interesting for these people that are selling pure strain bees. See if they actually are pure strain. But interestingly, to be able to do some tests in your own apiary and find out where your bees have come from, your local bees. Understandably quite a popular stand for the Union of Beekeepers Ukraine. And this is quite interesting. So this is, we've been talking about this, in fact the gentleman there, our apiary manager for the association apiary. We've been looking at these kind of oxalic acid cordless vaporizers. We're probably going to go with the InstaVap, which we were going to look at when we go to the honey show. So these are really interesting and revolutionising the way that you can administer oxalic acid. So that's something we're really interested in. So another company offering hives that are really, really light. Actually, I've just lifted one of those up. They are really, really light. Look at that. Claim to be the lightest around. Look. Don't know if you can see those weights. But that's kind of another thing with poly and the way things are going. Poly is really lightweight. It's why I use a brood box as a super. I'll always use it with a poly because it's light and much easier to handle. But of course, the problem, as always, is that the clean and everything else. So just had a little feel of those. I don't know how they would stand up to power washing because they are, they're a bit more solid than they feel more solid than some of the poly that we've been using. But I'm not sure. But obviously these things are developing all the time, and it's good to see. So we are just coming up on the Connigan stand. Now this seems to have gone out of flavour a little bit. I think Thorns used to sell it, but they don't seem to be selling it anymore. Just, let's say, seems gone out of flavour a bit with the UK, but I've got one of their extractors, which is brilliant. But yeah, I wonder what's going on there. The other thing that's interesting is I've been looking at some of these show prices, and some of these show prices you get really, really good deals, but not sure what the cost would be to have it shipped to the UK. But yeah, wonder if I could get one of those in my backpack on Ryanair. So there we are then. That is just I've literally just shown you a taste. There's over 100 and I think it's over 130 stalls at this place, with honeys from all over the world, beekeeping supplies from all over the world. Absolutely fascinating and interesting to see what's going on in other countries and development into bees and beekeeping, which is great to see. So yeah, there we are. So that's just a flavour of what's going on in the exhibitors hall. It's quite well set out, really. I mean, this conference centre is huge. So you come in through the entrance there. You've got all this main foyer here. On the right-hand side over there is where the exhibitors are, and I've already shown you around that, which is huge. Obviously, you've got to be able to get your merch, Apimondia merch. And then there's, as well as all your tea, coffee and everything else. And then over on the left-hand side, get to the other side here, upstairs more eateries. But if you get to the left-hand side there, all the way down there is where the auditoriums are. So that big auditorium that you see the opening ceremony in, they've closed that off to 3, and there's another room, so 3 really large rooms. And then in the middle here is the World Beekeeping Awards. You see the judges are going around for various things. So we recognise that young lady, Anne Robury, obviously one of the judges. They're judging at the moment, then I guess I'll open there. But it's all things innovation as well, which is from different companies. So it's interesting to have a look at these things and then see how they develop over the course of the coming years. Over here is a global honey bar. So this is honeys from all over the world. And remember telling you we met those guys when we came here, and how they've got special dispensation to bring these honeys into the show. But because of the way they deal with licenses and things like that for coming in, the guys here have had to collect the honey from the airport, from the individual people, and bring it directly here. It's not allowed to go anywhere else. But yeah, you go around and it's from all the different countries, and you can have a taste of all these honeys. I had a go earlier. I'm going to have another go later because it's just amazing. So many different flavours. One of them I had tasted very much like cherry, but you kind of can only taste a few, and then you've got to have a bit of a break. You've got to go and get away and cleanse your palate before you try some more. But that is just brilliant. And of course, we're in Denmark, the home of Lego. So they've got candles made like Lego. So, as part of Apimondia, there's various tours you can go on for all sorts of things, and there's also some very local ones, which is what we've chosen to do today. So it's just down the road from the actual centre itself, and it focuses on beekeeping in an urban environment, but doing it in such a way, it's quite difficult to explain actually, but doing it in such a way where they don't really sell their products. So for example, they'll go to a supermarket not to sell honey, but instead to give honey away, but with each jar of honey they give away, they give a packet of seeds, and with the promise of that person must take the honey, share it with someone, and plant those seeds. So, and the way they can operate is because the supermarket will pay for that. So they've got lots of different initiatives around that, whereas it doesn't see honey as a product or anything from the hive as a product, but it sees it in a way of us being bees, if you like, and getting together through beekeeping. It's quite interesting, a bit more than I can explain in just a short video. But it's kind of at this place, so it's made with a lot of volunteers and things, and they produce the honey, but they deal with it in a very, very different way. So that's what we've been on that. It's been the last couple of hours. It's been really, really interesting, the different ways people do things. But yeah, this is the kind of places you see. I'm wandering around behind me as to what they do. It's cool. This here, for example, I don't know if you can see this artwork, but they had a resident artist who was using wax with pigments, with natural pigments. I don't know if you can see this. So these books are all books, and these people were in the books, and he's used a modern way of painting on the outside. This is the book cover. Just interesting what goes on in people's minds and what they see and what they do. So as part of this tour, for example, we all had this honey to taste, but you had to feed somebody else. You couldn't take the honey for yourself, which is a really interesting exercise and something I'm going to think about and explore and maybe take that back when we go back to the UK, because it's really interesting how the dynamics within a room quickly change. So yeah, really interesting tour.
How are they the same?
Whenever you come to these sort of places abroad, you kind of realise that our knowledge of international languages in the main is quite poor, and I include myself in that, embarrassingly so. I can speak hardly any other languages. However, here they all speak English, which just blows my mind. 121 countries, and the majority of them speak English. But for those that are not perhaps fluent or can't speak English, then you can get translators so that you can listen to the various speakers and enjoy the lecture that they're given. I do struggle a little bit with some of the speakers come from numerous different countries, and their accent makes things a little bit difficult, but that combined with the presentation they're given, you kind of genuinely understand it. Most presentations are 15 minutes, or so, some half an hour with a couple of minutes for questions, but you're not sort of that closed in that you feel a bit embarrassed if you get up and leave, because you can. There's 4 places where lectures and presentations going on all the time, so it's really cool. And if you're in there and you think, oh, this is perhaps, because I'm finding some of the lectures are a bit above my pay grade, a bit sort of they're doctors giving these presentations, but in the main you're sort of getting by and understand it, and you can go to the various lectures that that you think will interest you. So obviously, as you're aware, that I'm the education officer for North Dorset Beekeepers. So the rest of the morning there's 4 presentations all about knowledge and teaching of beekeeping. So that's quite cool. So we'll run along to those. But yeah, so if you don't understand, you can get a translator. That's cool. So look who we've bumped into. Look, not a single hair amongst the 3 of us. And Darius is only here to make sure I don't spend my money anywhere else. It's the only reason he's coming. Nice to see you guys. So if you remember me saying, they as part of Apimondia, there's also a number of tours that are laid on that you can get yourself on, and these run before Apimondia, after Apimondia. They can be, I think one of them was a week long, a trip down through Sweden, all with a kind of beekeeping theme. So it's our last day today. We're flying back to the UK tonight, but we've managed to get this last tour in that's been put on, and so we've got on the coach and we've come along to this place to start with, which is a World UNESCO site of obviously historical and natural importance, and it's just south of Copenhagen. Well, it's in Copenhagen, but just south of where the conference has been. And it's a place called Stevens Klint, and it's geologically important because it's one of the places that confirmed that all the dinosaurs were made extinct by an asteroid, because this layer of after the asteroid destroyed everything within a matter of hours, there's this layer of silt, and here at this place called Stevens Klint is where you can see it, and then they've managed to find that same layer going all the way through Italy and to the original site in Mexico, and that's only been discovered since like the late 1970s. I think 1979 they presented it, but it still wasn't believed until they found the actual the site of the asteroid. So we've got a long day, so we've had a bit of a tour inside, been told all about it, how that's extincted the dinosaurs, and then the mammals obviously shook out of that, which makes you kind of think. It just puts things into perspective, doesn't you, how short our actual time is on this planet. But there we go. So we had a little tour inside, and then we went outside and actually down to the cliffs there to actually see it, and you can see that layer going all the way through it. So that's really interesting. Now we're off to somebody's apiary. So that's cool. So we've stopped for lunch, still on part of this whole day tour, and so far yet we've not done any beekeeping, but it's been really interesting. And we just stopped at this place for lunch, which has got you can see that church overhangs the cliff. So if you go in the church, you can see down right the way down to the sea, which is a little bit odd. So we had lunch in there, which is buffet style lunch, and they really did put on a good spread. Really good spread, all the different dishes you can possibly think of. But what was good was, me and the guy that I was with on the tour, my mate, we deliberately split up, because what's been really good about this whole experience of Apimondia is meeting beekeepers from all over the world. If you want peace in the world, just put a load of beekeepers together, because it's been amazing. And as I said to you before, I'm on the 17th floor of the hotel, so every day in the lift has been like speed dating for beekeepers. So you're having a couple of minutes with a beekeeper whilst you're in the lift from all over the world, and then in all the different places you go to, you're speaking to them. So I've just had lunch with a girl sat next to me from South Africa, and the guy opposite me was from South Korea. When would you ever get that combination of beekeepers together? And it's just really interesting talking to these other beekeepers around the world, what problems they've got, etc., etc. It's just great. So that's that part of the tour done. Now we're going to get on with some proper beekeeping.
These are Mexican or Spanish, or I can.
So this is slightly different. We're at this bee farm now with the gentleman who he uses his bees for pollination, queen rearing, and obviously selling honey. But the bees are allegedly so gentle, we're all here right on top of the hives with no bee suits on. This is going to be interesting. Again, don't you wish your bees were this calm and gentle? So we've arrived at our last destination for this tour, and it's called Behust. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's a company, if you're in the UK, maybe think Thorns, that sell lots of beekeeping equipment. But they also supply to all the big boys and girls out there as well. But what they also offer is wax processing and frame cleaning. You know that job at the end of the year that takes forever to do? But here, they'll do all that for you. And it's going to cost you about €1 a frame. But for that €1, all the wax is going to be taken out of it. It's going to be cleaned, it's going to be sterilised, and you will get your frames back ready to reuse, ready just to put foundation in. And all the wax that comes out of that goes into the wax bank, which means you can then get new foundation for your wax. So it's not really costing you a full €1 because you are going to get some wax back as well. And it gets wrapped up and you send it back. And even the smallest beekeeper that's only got 1 or 2 hives sends it here to be done. And it's amazing. Let me show you. So out here is all the frames they're the dirty frames that have been cleaned, and the frames that are in the back in the polythene have all been cleaned up. But let me show you the process.
This is empty now. It's after working Friday. The only leftovers is back the pubes. So, but what we do when we get the frames, we will stand them like this, fill it up. So this one there can be around 300 frames in. The small one 175, depending on what frame size it is also. But the Danish beekeepers are very known in many parts of the world because we change frames a lot. You can see frames like this many places. They will keep them and they use them next year. Many beekeepers in Denmark are sending anything to melt. Even sometimes don't take a frame in the spring, extract it and put it back. No, send it directly to only new foundation. Myself, if it's nice, I'll keep them for next year. But it's very common to only use them once and then.
So I got a bit of footage earlier, which I'll clip into this. It goes into there is a big freezer. So all the wax and everything goes in there first to kill all the majority of all the bugs and disease, etc. And then it comes into here, where you've got these two great big vats, if you like. And so what they'll do is they'll take the frames, and apparently in Denmark it's not usual to keep frames for more than 1 year. So they'll keep them for 1 year, 1 season, that's it. And apparently this is quite typical for smaller beekeepers. There's even still a bit of honey in there. So in the UK that would be given straight back to the bees. But here in Denmark, they put new foundation on almost every year. So those then all go into this vat. All goes into there. And then they sort of close it down, they heat it all up. I can't remember what temperature he said to. And it all obviously all melts. And then they take it all out. They don't filter it, because he did explain that actually by not filtering it, it makes it cleaner, because the heavy particles take the smaller particles away. Then all they do is power wash it. And then the frames go into steamers over here. So they're all, that's all put on, all boiling water, and it's steamed. Again, I can't remember the temperature he said. They steam them clean, and then finally they go into this washer. They all go into there, they're all washed to 80 degrees. Got some caustic soda in there, which cleans all the frames, wrapped up, and then they're ready to go out again. And the wax then is power washed, and that just comes out into lumps. And some of that waxing, if the beekeeper wants it back and have it, if he wants to make, or she wants to make creams, lotions, potions, candles, etc., it'll go back out there, or it goes into the wax bank. What a cool system is that? And then obviously it wouldn't be a proper beekeeping business without a shop to sell all the stuff in, all the queen and stuff up there. Have a look at this for a product. So you get your lids for your jars, where you can get your standard black ones and gold ones, but you can also get here screw top ones with pressed, looks like pressed honeycomb in the top of it. That's quite cool. They're for purchase. You can get these ones here that So if you're doing your jams, I guess, for that sort, that's quite cool. So, like I said, once they've got the wax, the lumps of wax, a lot of the Danish beekeepers, they put it in the wax bank so that they can take new foundation for it, similar to we do at the wax exchange. That wax will come in here, then it goes into this big vat. But apparently, even though they get a lot of water in Denmark, it costs a lot of money for it as well. So they've got these, if you can see them out the window, these they collect, recirculate the water because it costs so much. And then that goes through this machine. It gets flattened and flattened and flattened until it gets to looking like this, which is kind of fairly flat, but it's still not there yet, is it? So once it's gone through all that machine to there, it then goes into this machine. And this machine starts to roll it through. It starts to pick up in here. See how it starts to pick up the indentations, and then that comes out onto here, onto there. It rolls its way through, and then it comes onto here where they'll cut it on this guillotine. And then up on there is obviously all the different sizes for the different hives that the Danish would use, and they'll just cut them into packs of that, and that's ready. Now those frames, what the Danish have is frames of wired. The way they're wired is like horizontally wired, and so it comes out, and all you do is put that into the frame which has already been cleaned, and melt that back onto the wires, and that's what they do. It's quite a cool system, really. So we are back from Apimondia. Got in day 4 yesterday, got in late. Flight was delayed by an hour again, but we got back. What a week that was, what a blast. I will thoroughly recommend Apimondia to anyone that's a beekeeper. It was just amazing, you know. It was nearly 8,000 delegates in the end from 121 countries. And like I said to you in the video there, you know, every day I was up and down in the lift. It was like speed dating, meeting all these different beekeepers. Everywhere you went was different beekeepers from all over the world, and everybody just wanted to talk bees. It was great. So I had a really, really good week, but it's now back to reality and to get on with the next lot of beekeeping that needs doing. So yeah, so that completes the video. I hope you got something from it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in October. Goodbye.